My 20-year high school reunion was being held in the ballroom of a hotel too expensive for people like me to enter without checking the price of the water first. I stood outside the glass doors for almost 10 minutes before going in, staring at my reflection in the dark window. 38 years old, thinning hair, cheap button-up shirt ironed 3 different times because it was the only decent one I owned. Inside, everyone looked finished. That was the first thought that hit me. Finished. Complete. Like books with proper endings. People laughed loudly in little circles. Men with watches that probably cost more than my car. Women with elegant dresses and practiced smiles. Wedding rings flashed under the warm lights like tiny medals proving they had survived life correctly. And there I was, clutching my reunion invitation like someone who had snuck in by mistake. "Daniel?" I turned and saw Marcus Levin walking toward me. In high school, he had been skinny and awkward with acne scars all over his face. Now he looked like one of those men in advertisements for expensive shaving cream. Confident, healthy. He hugged me immediately and smiled like we had seen each other last week instead of 20 years ago. Man, 20 years. Can you believe it? I lied and said no. Marcus started talking about his law firm before I even asked. Not in a bragging way, that was the worst part. He wasn't trying to impress me. Success sat on him naturally now, like height, like eye color. Then his wife appeared beside him, smiling softly, holding his arm. Rebecca, his high school girlfriend, still together. I watched the way his thumb rubbed gently against her wrist while she spoke. The kind of unconscious intimacy people build after years together. And suddenly I wasn't in the ballroom anymore. I was 19 years old, sitting on the hood of my rusted Honda outside a gas station at 2 a.m. while Emily cried in the passenger seat. The parking lot smelled like gasoline and rain. My head floated somewhere between drunk and high while she stared at me with swollen eyes. "You're high again," she said quietly. "I'm not high." "You can barely keep your eyes open." I said I'm fine. Back then I still believed anger could hide addiction. If you got defensive enough, loud enough, people would question themselves instead of you. Emily looked exhausted. We had only been dating a year, but she already looked tired in the way people do after carrying something heavy for too long. "You forgot my birthday dinner," she whispered. I remember laughing, actually laughing. "Come on, Emily, it's just dinner." But it wasn't dinner. It was the 3rd time that month I'd disappeared for 2 days. It was the pills in my pocket, the vodka under the driver's seat, the way I drifted through conversations like a ghost, the way she had to repeat everything twice because I was never really listening. "You're never here anymore," she said, and she was right. Even when I sat beside her, I wasn't there. I was already somewhere else entirely. Back in the reunion ballroom, Marcus squeezed my shoulder before moving on to another group. Rebecca smiled politely at me, though I could tell she barely remembered who I was. Lucky her. I wandered toward the drinks table and immediately regretted it. Wine glasses, whiskey bottles, champagne bubbling softly under golden light. Even after 6 years sober, alcohol still spoke to me in a language nobody else could hear. Normal people saw drinks. I saw relief. A woman beside me picked up a glass of red wine casually, thoughtlessly, the way someone grabs a napkin. I remembered my 3rd month sober, my cousin's wedding, the bartender pouring whiskey into crystal glasses while laughter echoed across the reception hall. I remember gripping the edge of the table so hard my fingers cramped. My entire body felt wrong. Sweat under my shirt, jaw tight, heart pounding. Everyone around me drank so casually while I felt like I was standing in front of starving with a feast inches away. "You okay?" my uncle had asked. "Yeah," I said immediately. Always fine. Meanwhile, every nerve in my body screamed at me to grab the bottle and drink until the noise in my head disappeared. People think getting sober is noble and dramatic. They imagine emotional speeches and breakthrough moments. Mostly it's just resisting tiny decisions over and over again until your mind gets exhausted. Don't drink at weddings. Don't drink at funerals. Don't drink because you had a bad day. Don't drink because you had a good day. Don't drink because everyone else is. Don't drink because nobody understands. And at that wedding, I spent 4 hours pretending to listen to conversations while staring at amber liquid glowing in glasses around me like treasure. When I got home, I cried in the shower from the effort of not drinking. Nobody tells you sobriety can feel humiliating. Near the stage, someone had organized old high school photos onto giant boards, football games, science fairs, graduation. There I was at 17, smiling. That surprised me. I honestly forgot I used to smile like that. People assume addicts are born broken, but most of us started out ordinary. I wasn't miserable as a kid. I wasn't abused. My parents loved me. I had friends. I played soccer. I got decent grades. And the first time I got drunk was at 16 behind Tyler Morrison's house. Warm beer passed around between stupid teenagers trying to look fearless. I remember the exact moment it hit me. The warmth. The silence. For the first time in my life, my brain stopped attacking me. I didn't even realize how anxious I was until alcohol removed it. The constant overthinking, the feeling everyone secretly disliked me, the fear of saying the wrong thing. Suddenly, all of it dissolved. People laughed, and I laughed louder. Girls talked to me, and words came easily. I felt unlocked. That's the dangerous thing about addiction for some people. It doesn't feel like destruction in the beginning. It feels like finally becoming the person you were supposed to be. By graduation, drinking every weekend became drinking every day. Then pills entered the picture, then cocaine occasionally, then constantly. Life didn't collapse all at once. It eroded quietly. Missed classes, lost jobs, friends stopping invitations. My parents' disappointed faces hardening slowly into fear. And somehow, through all of it, I kept believing I was still young enough to fix everything later. At reunions, people ask where you live and what you do. Those questions become terrifying when your life stalled at 22. I escaped toward the bathroom hallway and nearly collided with Sarah Kaplan. She blinked in surprise before smiling warmly. Sarah had been one of those girls everyone loved in school. Not because she was beautiful, though she was, because she made people feel seen. Daniel, wow. She asked about my life carefully, gently. I could tell she already knew pieces of it. Everyone eventually hears. Still in the city? She asked. Yeah. What do you do now? Now. Such a small word carrying so much weight. I work at a warehouse, I said. She nodded normally, but I saw it. The tiny flicker behind her eyes. People try to hide pity because they think hiding it makes it kinder. It's steady work, I added quickly. Why did I say that? Why did I suddenly feel the need to defend my existence? Sarah told me about her 2 kids, her therapy practice, her husband. I smiled and congratulated her like a normal person while something twisted slowly inside my chest. Because this is the part nobody talks about after addiction. Getting sober doesn't return the lost years. Movies end when the addict recovers. Real life begins there. And sometimes recovery feels less like rebirth and more like waking up after a fire to inspect what survived. At 32, newly sober, I sat across from a career counselor who studied my resume with visible confusion. So, there are some gaps here. 12 years of gaps. 12 years of unfinished community college attempts, jobs abandoned after binges, arrests that never became felonies but still followed me like stains. People love redemption stories until redemption becomes inconvenient. Nobody wants to hire the sober ex-addict when another applicant has no history at all. Dating was worse. I tried apps, coffee dates, recovery groups. Women would ask simple questions. What were you doing in your 20s? Destroying myself. What happened with your last relationship? I chose drugs over her repeatedly until she left. How come you never married? Because addiction eats the future first. After a while, honesty started feeling like self-sabotage, but lying felt worse. Back at the reunion, laughter erupted near the dance floor. Someone had started playing old songs from our graduation year. A group gathered around Tyler Morrison, who apparently sold some tech company for millions. Of course he did. Tyler spotted me and waved me over enthusiastically. How have you been, man? I almost answered automatically, fine. Instead, I shrugged. Better now. And strangely, I meant it. Tyler talked about investments and skiing trips while I nodded politely. But halfway through his story, I noticed something. He looked tired, not physically, deep tired, the kind hidden behind successful people's eyes. His laugh lingered half a second too long after jokes. His hand trembled slightly when lifting his drink. Maybe I imagined it. Or maybe pain simply grows easier to recognize once you've lived beside it long enough. As the night continued, I realized everyone here carried disappointments quietly beneath polished surfaces. Marcus and Rebecca had a son with severe health problems. Sarah admitted she and her husband nearly divorced last year. Another classmate declared bankruptcy after a failed business. Life had not spared them. It had simply damaged them differently. Around 11, people moved outside onto the hotel terrace overlooking the city. The air smelled like rain. I stood alone near the railing until someone joined me. Emily. For a second, I honestly thought my brain invented her, but there she was. Older, of course, softer around the eyes, beautiful in a quieter way than before. We stared at each other awkwardly. Hey, she said. Hey. I noticed the wedding ring immediately, of course. We talked carefully at first, like stepping around broken glass. She told me she had moved north, had a daughter, worked as a teacher. Then silence settled between us. I heard you got sober, she said eventually. Yeah, 6 years. That's good. I nodded while city lights blurred below us. Finally, I said the thing I'd carried for 20 years. I'm sorry. Her expression changed instantly, not dramatic, just sad. You don't have to. I do. I looked down at my hands. I was awful to you. She stayed quiet. You kept trying to help me, and I kept choosing drugs over everything. My throat tightened. Over you! She leaned against the railing beside me. You were sick, Daniel. Maybe. But addiction being an illness never fully removes the guilt of what you did while drowning in it. I thought you hated me, I admitted. Emily gave a small smile. I was angry for a long time. Fair. Then eventually I just hoped you stayed alive. That sentence hit harder than anything else all night, because I remembered how close things got. 30 years old, bathroom floor, blood in my vomit after a 3-day binge, my mother crying outside the locked door while paramedics forced it open. People think rock bottom arrives with cinematic clarity. For me, it arrived through embarrassment. I woke in the hospital and saw my father asleep in a plastic chair beside me. My father never cried growing up, never. But his face looked ancient sitting there, defeated. And for the first time, I realized my addiction wasn't only killing me. It was destroying everyone who loved me slowly alongside me. Sobriety started the next morning, not heroically, terrified. 1 hour at a time, then one day, then another. Emily touched my arm gently, pulling me back to the terrace. I'm proud of you, she said. Those 4 words nearly broke me because nobody understands how hard sobriety can be unless they've fought for it themselves. Every sober year felt like dragging myself uphill carrying ghosts. Meanwhile, everyone else my age kept moving naturally through adulthood. Careers, marriage, children, homes. I learned how to live at 32 while others were already established. And yes, sometimes life felt unfair. Actually, often. There were nights I lay awake furious that my mistakes seemed permanent while other people recovered from theirs easily. But standing there beside Emily, I suddenly understood something uncomfortable. Life had given me chances, thousands of them. I just spent years throwing them away faster than they arrived. That truth hurt. But it also freed me a little. Because if addiction wasn't entirely my fault, recovery still had to become my responsibility. The reunion began ending after midnight. People exchanged numbers they probably wouldn't use, promised dinners that would never happen. I walked slowly toward the exit, feeling strangely lighter, not happy, but clearer. Outside, rain finally started falling lightly across the empty streets. I paused beneath the hotel awning and looked back through the glass windows at my former classmates laughing together. For most of the night, I had seen myself as the failure among them, the addict, the man who fell behind. But maybe life wasn't a race people secretly finished at 30. Maybe everyone was simply trying to survive the years they were given. Some survived elegantly, others survived messily. I thought about my first sober morning again, the shaking hands, the terror, the certainty I couldn't possibly live without drugs or alcohol. And yet somehow I had. 6 years, thousands of impossible little choices stacked together. A younger version of me would have left this reunion and gotten drunk immediately. He would have drowned the shame before morning. Instead, I pulled my jacket tighter, stepped into the rain, and walked home sober.